We're live.
We're live.
Hey, it's Chris, Homestead and Hardway. And before I forget to do it, I talked to a 9-year-old little boy the other night from Western Virginia. And I told him I was going to dedicate the next video to him. I think we got a up-and-coming farmer for certain. So Harlan, this video is for you. What we're going to talk about today is the differences between Granddaddy's day and today. Now, my granddaddies, one of them was born about 1895, early 1890s. The other one was born probably the late 1890s, early 1900s, 1905, 1902. I honestly don't remember. I hate to admit it. I know my parents were born in the late 20s, early 30s. And my mom and daddy got married about 53. So I might ought to do this on my daddy's day, not my granddaddy's day. But we're going to kind of lump the two together. The first thing you got to remember is different between then and now. Is in Granddaddy's day, you could buy a small farm, 50, 100 acre farm, and you could pay for it. You could live on it, tend it, grow a crop on it, and pay for it, and live. All at the same time. That's tough to do now. That's really tough to do. Land prices have gone up so high, and the profit you make farming really hasn't. So that's almost impossible. It can be done. It's not impossible, but it's close. The second thing that's different between then and now is what you got to spend money on. Them old folks didn't have a whole lot to spend money on. You didn't go to town. You didn't go to the store. You went grocery shopping. This is even to my daddy when I was young. He went to the grocery store about every 4 months. You didn't run to town and get nothing to eat. We did not eat out when I was a child. Never, for no reason. Closest thing we ever got to eating out was running to the grill at lunchtime and getting hot dogs with the back hands. Sometimes in the summer, we would just go get two bags full of hot dogs to feed the back hands. That was as close as you got to really eating out. Never went to a sit-down restaurant. Didn't know what fast food was. You didn't spend as much money. You had a more self-sufficient lifestyle. There was no cell phone bills, no cable bill. They was just don't that much to spend money on. Nobody went and got a $5 cup of coffee. Never happened. It wasn't even a thought. Other things that are different. You can't farm the same way. And we've talked about this in other videos. We're going to elaborate on it in this one. Like your granddaddy, daddy could free range chickens. You could have chickens, just have them running loose. The reason was they want no predators. They kept them killed out. They kept them trapped out, kept them killed out. Everybody had a pack of hounds. It was a non-issue. It's just the way it was. Deer and other pests. Deer didn't exist. They killed the panthers and the wolves and the deer out hundreds of years ago. They won't eat deer here. My granddaddy and my daddy didn't have to worry about deer eating up their corn, eating up their soybeans. They won't here. They didn't get deer back here till people went to another county and caught them and brought them up here and turned them loose. We didn't have beavers. We didn't have coyotes. Coyotes are fairly new, last 20 years probably. We didn't have groundhogs. Groundhogs are new. We didn't have fire ants. We didn't have stink bugs. There's a lot of pests that have been brought in. A lot of stuff's been brought back. Now, I guess there's nothing wrong with bringing the beavers back and bringing the deer back, but they didn't have to deal with them. We do. So you take all those problems and just disregard them. They didn't have them. Now, there's been some advances. You know, we got rid of screwworms. We got rid of brucellosis in North Carolina. There's been a lot of great things that's happened, but other stuff has moved in and kind of took the place of it. My daddy never had to worry about stink bugs in corn and the damage they cause, and damage they cause on garden crops. We didn't have to worry about some of the funguses. We got this past year we had trouble with fungus in pumpkins. That was new to me. Of course, we hadn't grown any pumpkins in 10 years, and it's a problem now, and it wasn't then. The weather's changing, which the weather goes in ups and downs, and it's different from decade to decade anyway. But we're in a drought. Of course, I grew up in a 15-year drought, so I'm used to droughts. And it actually helps me because this black bottomland we've got, we're in an extended drought. It's a godsend during the drought. On wet years, you can't tend it. So I'm not sure how we're going to handle that. We don't have any light land to move everything to decide we're going to tend this year because we couldn't tend it this year. It's too wet. So that may be problematic. So droughts are good for me. Simple things like fire ants and all the detrimental things they do, they didn't have to deal with them. Like armadillos, we're getting armadillos now. They're moving in North Carolina. Groundhogs have moved down here. They've always been in the western part of the state. We know what a groundhog was. Now instead of rabbits, there ain't no rabbits no more. Now instead of the rabbits eating your stuff up, groundhogs are eating it up. So we've got a lot of issues he didn't have. Equipment costs are high, sky high. New pickup truck's like $85,000. And I know you got to adjust all this stuff for inflation. And we've actually got receipts. My mama kept everything. So we've got receipts for most of the tractors my daddy bought. Just about everything he ever bought, we have the receipt. Still have the receipt. I've got a receipt for a 70 model GMC truck. I've got a receipt for a 60 model GMC truck. We've got receipts for Super A farmballs that we're buying here. And a Super A farmball in 50-something, 54, 53 or whatever, was $1,900, I believe, with the equipment. And that was a disc and a braking plow. With the equipment. All the toolbars, plow shakes, and everything. It was $1,900. Now, $1,900 was really hard to come by back then, and my daddy confided in me one time that he was really scared he wasn't going to be able to pay for that tractor. He owed 3 payments on it, one a year for 3 years, and the third year he was scared to death he wasn't going to be able to make payment. And they just barely were able to make payment. The last truck he bought, I think, new, was a 79 Ford, and I believe it won't be like $2,800. But at $85,000 for a pickup truck, or $27,000 for a little old cheap coyote piece of nothing tractor that won't do the job no way, it's tough. It's tough. And you combine that with the fact that in today's modern age, you got $200 a month worth of cell phone bill and probably $300 a month worth of internet and cable bills, and you got to have insurance on everything. I think our farmhouse insurance is $250 a month. It's different. It's different. It's not like it used to be. And even if you say you're going to drop all these bills and you're going to be off grid, you're going to do all this stuff, you're still going to have money going out. Property taxes have gone up every year. We've paid for this place 35 times, at least. Just having to pay the county to keep it. We've got some obstacles he didn't have. We've got advantages. We've got advantages in modern veterinary medicine and fertilizers. We've got a lot of advantages, but we've got some disadvantages too. And the biggest reason we're doing this video and having this talk, and we're going to get back to the young boy, Harlan. I think Harlan's got a fair chance of growing up to be a farmer. And while it's difficult, and it's not easy, and you're going to have to be dedicated, and you're going to have to understand that most people are farmers not for the money. If you were doing it strictly as a business and to make a living, you'd probably do something else. It's something that's got to be in your blood, something you want to do. You're doing it because, I guess, it's genetic. It's just, it's built in you. You're not doing it for the money. No farmer I know will look at you with a straight face and say they're farming for the money. And a problem I'm going to have, and which it breaks my heart, because we're 5th generation. But I've got a bad feeling it's going to stop with me. Young people just aren't willing to do it. They aren't willing to, especially if you're not already established. Now, if we were big farmers and making a couple $100,000 a year, I might could get one of the boys to jump in and do it, but with no more than we're doing, just trying to keep a tradition of raising on the groundhogs alive, or just a little bit of produce business, they're not going to jump in and do it. There's not enough money in it. And what that means is that we're losing farmers horribly. It's terrible. And on top of losing farmers, we got a lot of farmers that are going to doing contract livestock. chickens, turkeys, hogs. And that's a hard road to hoe. That's a good way to lose everything you got. You're on contract. The contract is solely to benefit the company. It's not to benefit you at all. And they may just decide to go bankrupt today, or they may decide that you need to build new hog houses, or you need to build new chicken houses, or you need to do whatever that you can't do. I've been through it myself twice. We lost half the farm over chickens back in the 70s. And I just did manage to get out of a hog farm and make out all right on it, but I got lucky. I've always been good at outside the box thinking, and we went into it thinking different and managed to make it cash flow pretty quick, and I managed to get out from under it and not lose, but I was lucky. There's a lot stacked against you, but I have an undying dream. I've had this dream my whole adult life that the small farm could make a comeback. Now, when I say small farm, I'm talking about under 50 acres, or maybe we'll revert that and say under 30 acres. Under 30 acres, because 30 acres in most states is the bare minimum to get the benefits of having a farm. You have to have a certain amount of acreage. They don't care what you're doing on it. I've been fighting that my whole life. This 6 acres right here, we don't get farm tax on it, because there's got to be a minimum of 11 acres to get farm tax rate. So you have to deal with all kinds of little stupid things like that. But I think just about everywhere 30 acres is a good number. You can get farm insurance and farm tax rate and everything on 30 acres. And that's going to change from state to state. But it's, at least I know it's the way it is here. Like farm tags on your truck, you have to have a certain amount of acreage. But anyway, I want to see the small farm make a comeback. And I think it's possible. With changing markets and people getting wise to some things, the chemical laden food, and I've told you this before and I'll tell you again, it ain't the farmer killing you. It ain't the farmer trying to kill you. What they do to it out here on the farm is highly regulated. There's a lot more damage done to your food at the processor. To the chemicals that are sprayed on it to make it ripen up when it's not ripe, or make it not get too ripe before you get it in the grocery store. Everything's picked green, ripens up on the truck. Anything canned or processed is chemical to death. Even prepackaged meat is injected with a bank of hypodermic needles. It's injected as it goes down the line to add weight and flavoring and preservatives. That's when the bad stuff's happening. When it leaves the farm, it may be green. It might all been ready to pick, but what else you gonna do, you know? And then too much of our food is coming from a foreign country. Too much of it is imported. You know, we do the locally grown produce, and I have people already calling me wanting watermelons. It's still May, ain't it? Watermelon's about that high. About that big around.
The plant.
Yeah, they're just plants. They're not. There's not a hint of a watermelon, not a flower, not nothing. We won't have any watermelons to mid-July. Our growing season actually is not long enough to grow to have watermelons by the 4th of July. We can do it if you plant plants, but the problem you run into with that is the expense, you know. But your daddy and your granddaddy had some advantages and had some disadvantages. You've got some advantages and disadvantages. But I'm hoping we can get back to something like they were doing. I really am hoping. We're here to help you do that. You know, the only reason we do this YouTube channel is to try to help people get back to this that they want to do it. And you see so much misleading stuff. And, you know, it can be done, but you got to know what you're really up against. You can't go into it with you know, unrealistic goals and unrealistic expectations and think you're going to jump off out here and make a bunch of money right off the bat. We make a little bit. We don't do too bad. We don't do great. And I can tell people all the time, it all depends on what your idea of living is and how cheap you live. I mean, we're surviving, but we won't ever buy a new truck. I don't want one anyway. We'll never buy one. So maybe some of this will help you a little bit. And just remember, we're regulated to death where Daddy won't. Everything has gone up 10 times in price this day. At least 10 times. Production has increased. If my daddy knew that now kind of standard for raising corn was 200 bushels to the acre where I'm at now, he would fall out. The best we could ever do was 100 when he was alive. And that was good corn. You had 100 bushel corn. Production has probably quadrupled. The price that you get for your commodities, that you get for your corn and soybeans and produce and stuff, hasn't gone up that much. The price of meat has gone up, but the price of other stuff has not. And with the input cost to grow with meat, it really hasn't made that much of a difference. But maybe some of this will help you. I'm rambling a little bit, and the mosquitoes are out, and they're eating us alive. Darlene's over there trying to blow them off her face, but we'll let you go. But just remember, you can do all this stuff. You can do it. No, it's not easy. No, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. But if you're determined to do it, and you have some determination to do it, and it's in your blood, like we say, it's in your blood, and you're going to do it regardless. That used to be my excuse. I'm going to do it regardless. Might as well, I'm going to do it. Ain't no getting out of it. So we're going to do it. Might as well try to make a little money at it. But you can do it. But you'll never do it sitting around thinking about it. And every day you put it off, you're just making it worse. Check with the USDA. There's some beginning farmer loans that could possibly help you. But you've got to be a farmer now. You can't be a homesteader. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but 4 raised beds and 3 chickens and 2 milk goats, they're not going to do much for you.
There's certain criteria.
Yeah, there's certain criteria. You've got to be you're doing this commercially. Now, once you step up to doing it commercially, now let me explain that right quick. Try not to make the video 40 minutes long, but let me explain that right quick. Even if you're a homestead, which I don't like the term homesteader. The older I get, the more I deal with it, the less I like the term homesteader. The traditional way of doing it around here was you grew everything you ate. Everything. Now what that may mean, maybe one home in the neighborhood had a milk cow, provided, everybody else milk and butter. Maybe 3 people in the neighborhood had hogs or something. But everything was produced locally. And when I say locally, I mean within a mile and a half. And but you grew everything you ate, but then you grew a cash crop. You've got to have a cash crop. Now, East North Carolina, that was the back of tradition. That's the only thing that ever made any money around here. Well, your cash crop may be field corn to sell for deer corn. It may be cabbage. It may be potatoes. It may be whatever. But you've got to have some farm income. Maybe 7 pigs, 7 chicks, 7 whatever, eggs or whatever you're trying to do. Is your cash crop. But you've got to have some cost deferment. Well, once you start doing cost deferment, you're a professional farmer. Once you start selling a product, you're a professional farmer. So you may be in a situation where you get a little bigger and make it work. And what kind of malfunction have we got with the camera?
A mosquito bit me in the ear.
Anyway. So bear that in mind, and rules are different state to state. I understand some states have homesteader regulations and tax breaks and all kinds of stuff. If you have that, take advantage of it. Take advantage of any program you take advantage of. Because if you don't get it, somebody else is.
Research grants.
Yeah, research grants. Just, you can help yourself, but you got to get after it. You'll never do none of this stuff sitting on the couch thinking about doing it, talking about doing it, wish you could do it. If you don't have any land, investigate maybe renting some farmland. I don't think if most people understand this, most farmland rents around here, the most we'll pay for rent is $150 an acre a year. That's for a year, not a month, a year, and that's high rent. There's a lot of land rents for $35 to $65 to maybe $85. There may be some hits $200 now for the back land. You may pay $200 every third year when you put the back on. But farmland rent's cheap. So you may be better off to rent land. You definitely rent it better than you buy it. And a lot of people don't understand, a lot of these big farmers, they don't own all this land, they're renting it.
And he's not talking about a horse pasture that's fenced in, stuff like that, because people...
Well, people are crazy about that.
Yeah.
Hayfield rents about $60. Right? Well, I don't know, we'll say, I haven't rented in several years. We may say it's, pause there for just a second. Back on. Hayfield used to rent for at the most $100 an acre a year. I saw somebody today on Facebook had a 3-acre pasture, won't fenced in or nothing. They were wanting, I don't know what it was.
$300 a month.
How much?
$300 a month. And I think it was fenced in.
That's
though.
awfully ambitious. So it wasn't the same one I was looking at then. Still fenced in, that's awfully ambitious. That's getting up to horse boarding cost there. Maybe that was for full care. Maybe they're going to feed and water them too if you provide the feed. I don't know. I ain't got nothing to do with how other people price their stuff. But you can't do all this mess. Just get up and go do it. Get off the couch. Come up with a plan. Try to figure out what you want to do. You may be better off figure out what there's a market for. If you find something there's a market for that you can grow, you're already ahead of the game. And something I'm going to warn you about that. Something we have trouble with. Just because people say they want something don't mean they want it. We plant a little bit of something every year that I had a bunch of people tell me they wanted until I had it, and then they didn't ever come get it. That happens a lot. And there's some things the market's just flooded with. You've got it, so does everybody else. Like a chicken egg. There's a chicken egg for sale every 37 feet around here. Every driveway's got a sign that says eggs for sale. But get up and get after it. Remember, you'll never plow a field but turn it over in your mind. And I appreciate you watching. Y'all have a good evening.